After being a wedding photographer for 12 years and shooting over 500 weddings, I can tell you this. Editing is where most photographers waste all of their time. But I have a solution for you. I've partnered with Imagen to bring you the tips that I personally use while editing to speed up my whole editing workflow. Now, to start out, every editing workflow starts with importing. And this, by far, is the most important part. The first thing you're doing wrong when you're importing is not making a backup to another location while you import. If you didn't know, when you're in the import menu, there's an option to make a second copy too. Select this and then choose an external hard drive separate where your main import is going to be. This way you automatically have a backup when you start importing your photos. If you're shooting weddings like I am, this is very important because this is client work that they're paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for. So make sure you're making this initial backup. Next, did you know you can apply a preset directly to your photos while you import them? If not, let me show you how to do it. While you're importing your photos, on the right side, you'll see the option to apply a preset. If you've saved your own preset, you can actually apply that to the import itself, so your photos already have their base color grading on them. Now, you could also do this with imagen-ai, but it's not just applying a preset, it's actually editing your photos for you, which is a whole nother realm of speed, but we'll get into that later. If you have not tried it, there's a link in the description. I honestly suggest you check it out. By applying your preset during the import though, you're already halfway done with your editing, which actually leads to the next step that could speed you up, which is using the Quick Develop. The Quick Develop tool is one of my favorites because basically you're editing your photos without having to go into Develop and tweak everything there. While you're looking at your photos inside of the library, on the right side, you'll see your Quick Develop. This will give you options like dealing with your white balance, your exposure, contrast, so on and so forth. And there's buttons that will let you raise it by a little bit or a little bit more. And you just use these arrows to decide how much you want to add or subtract to your photos. You can actually do a group of photos as well by selecting a group and then also using your Quick Develop. Check this out. So if I have these photos here in the same scene, and I wanted to go ahead and make a change to all the photos, obviously I could sync the settings, but what I like to do is just select a bunch of them using Shift and click, and then here on the right, I can go through and I can raise the exposure, I can drop shadows, I can change white balance, and you'll see all those changes updating on each and every one of those photos as I make them. This is a great way to tweak photos as well. If you like where the edit is but want to change it just a little bit, you can do that there. This is something I'm using often, especially when I'm editing a group of photos. It just makes it so much easier to apply the setting to all of the photos rather than a couple of them. And to take it a step further, one thing I like to do, which speeds me up as well, is using a dual monitor system. Now, the reason I like to do this is because of an option inside of Lightroom that will let you use both monitors at the same time while you're editing your photos. If you've ever noticed in the bottom left corner of Lightroom, there's these two little monitor looking things with a 1 and 2 on them. If you press 2, this will actually open up an additional Lightroom view on your second monitor. Now, what I like to do while I'm doing this is put that second monitor into survey mode. Now I can select multiple photos and see all of them at the same time a little bit larger. And this is where me using that Quick Develop kind of comes in as well. Now I can choose 1 or 2 photos or a group of photos, see all of them selected on my additional monitor, and see if maybe the white balance or the exposure is just a little bit off. This way I can select one of them on the survey monitor view, which will change the view on my main monitor that's like, let's say in develop mode, and then I can go in and develop that specific photo while comparing it to other photos. If you have a dual monitor setup or have thought about doing it before, this is the reason why. And I think I made a video a while ago about ultra wide monitors versus dual monitors. I'll leave that up above if you have any thoughts or questions about dual monitors, because to me, I think it makes total sense. But again, a lot of people like to work on a single monitor. Dual monitor is game changing if you have not done it. Now, I do have to bring to your attention the fact that the majority of people viewing my channel are not subscribed, which is very surprising. If any of these tips were super helpful for you, or you've never even heard them before, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so that you can edit even faster. But on that note, these tips might help you get faster while editing, but there is a way to get even faster, which is using Imagen. I've been using Imagen a couple of years now, and I want to show you how I use it in my workflow with the tips we just talked about to speed up my workflow even faster. Now, something else I do very often when I'm editing my photos is dealing with the HSL section, which is hue, saturation, and luminance. This can actually make a huge change on your colors, and sometimes they need to be tweaked just a little bit. Now, what's nice, if I want to make tweaks to this section, but that will overall be edited on all my photos through Imagen, I can actually do that. When I'm in Imagen, I'll create my own profile based off of my color set, and then I can go in and make additional edits to that profile if I need to. While I'm making those edits, I can scroll down to HSL and then put in either an exact amount that I want or a tweak that will just update the actual profile itself. And if you're not sure how it's looking, you can actually upload a couple of raw files to see it in real time, the changes that you're making to the AI profile you already created. This way, instead of having to tweak my HSL every time, I do it the one time when I need it and it's there every time on every photo, adjust it per photo. Having the assisted AI do all this for me is huge and what really is helping me save so much time. The next common thing I'm doing often is masking. And if you haven't used the masking tool inside of Lightroom, you're really missing out. On the top right corner, when you're in Develop, you'll see this circle. When you click that, that is your masking tool. Now, there's been a couple of updates to the masking tool over time where it can either select your subject for you or you can brush it in. Now, every now and then I do some brushing in myself. Actually, as a hot tip, one of the best ways to brush in is by selecting by object and then brushing in your windows. I've noticed on dress shots, if you're shooting natural light, a lot of times you're gonna blow out the windows. But if you select the object of just the windows, you can actually bring down the exposures of the window just a little bit so it's not so blown out. So that's my number one hot tip of this whole video. Sound off in the comments if that was helpful for you. But generally, you're going to be using your masking for masking your couple to either warm them up, cool them down, raise the shadows on them, and Imagen can actually do all of that for you as well. When you're creating a new project, after you've selected which photos are going to be edited, you have the option to add things to your photo like masking as well. Now, the reason I really love these masking options also is that you may be a little afraid of AI editing your photo, but these are non-destructive edits. This means it comes to you like an editor would edit it, like an assistant or somebody, and so you can still tweak those adjustments. After Imagen has made its mask edits, I can go back in and change those masks if I want to. So again, you can speed yourself up by using the masks for your edits, or you can just let Imagen do it. And when I say it is extremely accurate, it's so good. Now, masking is something you'll want to get used to doing as well, because one thing I love to do, I mentioned cooling down or warming your couples. A lot of times in my photos for sparkler exits, I like to have the sparklers a little bit cool. If you know anything about sparkler exits, the sparkles are normally like an orange color, but if you've seen some of my photos, they're more like a whitish blue, and I do that with masking. So if you're not using masking in your editing now, this is something that's going to make a huge difference to your edits. It can help you do things that you weren't able to do before because you're using natural light and not flash. And then again, you can do a lot of it with Imagen as well. The next tool I'm using often while I'm editing my photos, which Imagen saves so much time with, is straightening my photos. When you're editing your photos inside the Develop view, and you scroll down a little bit on the right, you'll see the straighten options. You can auto straighten, you can just straighten to level, but Imagen will actually do all that for you as well. Honestly, out of all the options Imagen has built into it, the straightening tool is one of my favorites. I don't know about you all. I know the Dutch tilt and tilted photos are kind of in right now, but especially if I'm shooting horizontal, I want a straight on photo. I think the Dutch tilt works a little bit better for vertical photos, But for the most part, like, keep your photos straight. If you don't already have like a level inside of your camera, like, turn it on, please. And then also straighten your photos in post. When you're creating your new project inside of Imagen and you're choosing the photos that you want to be edited, you also have the option to straighten your photos. This is going to be in that same view where you saw masking before. There's a lot of different options here of things that you can turn on. And on that note, the next one, which is probably hands down the best feature they could have come up with, is the object removal. Object removal, hands down, is a huge game changer, especially for wedding photographers, because getting rid of exit signs and other objects in the background of photos probably takes the most time out of any wedding gallery. So if I want to do that with Imagen and save myself time, I'm here in Imagen. I'm going to make myself a new project. And we're just going to edit this time. I select my Lightroom catalog. And then I pick a wedding day inside of my catalog. I can choose my filters up here at the top to let it know which photos to edit. I'm only going to do these 26 for now. I choose which profile that I want to use and also what type of session it was. And then there is our object removal. Honestly, it is hands down one of the most exciting features. So we talked about it before, but I have my straighten. I have that turned on. We have skin smooth. I'll turn that on. We got subject mask as well, which we were talking about. And then our object removal. And you can see here on the right, I can choose what I want it to get rid of. I think for me personally, some of the most annoying are fire extinguishers and exit signs. So I'm going to leave the rest of these off for now and just do exit signs and the fire extinguishers because, oh, sound off in the comments below if you hate getting rid of exit signs in your wedding galleries. I'm going to save these changes. And then we'll go ahead and have everything upload. Now that Imagen's done with all my edits, I can go ahead and download them back into Lightroom. Inside of my catalog here, where are all the edits? And I will go ahead and switch this to the 5-star only view, and we should see my edits start popping in. If you're noticing, not only are the photos getting edited, but those exit signs are disappearing in every photo. Photos are getting straightened, and they look great. Also, if you want to see it again, I can jump into my developed view and look at my before and after. And so you can see here on the left, this was the raw photo unedited. This is the edit that Imagen did for me. We can also see that that exit sign is gone. Now, what's great about the object removal as well is the fact that it's a non-destructive edit on your photos. So if, like we see here, this isn't the greatest job, it's not Imagen's fault, it's actually Lightroom's. I can just go in, find my AI removal tool. We can see that Imagen already used it by itself, which is amazing. And I can just regenerate that. And so that results a little better. So again, Imagen will go ahead and do it for you. And then if Lightroom isn't giving you the results you want, you can just go back in and regenerate it. And honestly, like, I went and took a break while it was editing my photos. That's probably the best part of it. You can go do something else. You can handle your emails. You can deal with your CRM. You can hang out with your family. You can do something else while Imagen does the work for you. Now, I know AI can be intimidating, but honestly, if you're still editing everything 1000% manually, you're wasting a lot of your own time. You need an AI assistant to help take 80% of the work off your hands so that you can save yourself time. And again, since this video is partnered with Imagen, I have a link in the description below for you all for 1,500 free edits for you to try it out. That's basically a full wedding, if not two, depending on how much you're shooting. With that 1,500 free edits, you can cull your whole wedding and get it edited. So if you're like me and you have a pretty busy wedding season coming up, and or if you have a day job and you do weddings, you just don't want to waste all of your time because you have family and friends you want to spend time with, then definitely make sure to check that link out in the description below. Get your free 1500 edits, give it a try, and save yourself time. And if this was helpful for you all and you want to see me do more editing with Imagen or manually, check out some of my live streams. I do one every month, the last Friday of the month. I'll edit your photos live on the stream, and they're just fun to watch and hang out. And I will check you all next time.